So why has a Kerala film angered the entire Sangh Parivar? Are filmmakers unable to deal with political pressure? Is censorship on the rise? Just some of the questions we will raise. I'm joined by M.G. Radhakrishnan, senior journalist based in Thiruvananthapuram. Anand Kochikudi, journalist and columnist, joins me. And Rahul Ishwar is also with us. He's a Hindu activist, as he likes to project himself, apart from being an author. I appreciate all of you joining us. I want to come to you, M.G. Radhakrishnan, first, because you've tracked Kerala for decades. Have you seen something like this, where a film bends to cut 17 scenes because of political pressure, allegedly? Is it clear that this is the filmmakers fearful of the centre in particular, even Mohanlal issuing an apology?
Well, it has never happened, Rajdeep, before, because Kerala film industry has been known for films with very, very pronounced political messages, political critiques, and even top leaders have been, extremely criticized in a number of movies, irrespective of their political parties and colors. But such a thing has never happened. This is something which Idi Amin of Uganda said some time back. I can give you freedom of speech, but I cannot ensure freedom after speech. No, Empuraan has been released and released with the proper censor board certification and all. And then after that, now the producers have been forced to introduce 24 cuts. This has never happened before.
Is it specifically, though, Mr. Radhakrishnan, because part of the movie tracks the Gujarat 2002 riots? Is that the concern, or are there wider concerns about the way politics is depicted?
Not at all. I don't think so. This is exclusively a Gujarat. The references about Gujarat riots that have been, that has caused this huge anger from the BJP leaders and their Sangh Parivar. And the film actually mentions very graphically about what happened in 2012 in Gujarat. And in fact, but the film never says, it's been done by BJP or anything. It's actually, they put the criminals who, perpetrated all that gory violence in Gujarat. And the film even, goes out of the way to say, to portray that it is not the Hindu community which should be blamed, because there's a Hindu lady who has been portrayed as the person who goes out of the way to protect, to shield the kind of the Muslim neighbors in a locality, to help them out, and in the process she herself becomes a martyr to this hooligans.
Right.
So this is actually, you can in no way can portray this film as anti-Hindu or anti-national as the BJP leaders, not the party as such, but the leaders and the entire Sangh Parivar in social media have portrayed.
Anand Kochukudi, in your view, why has this film particularly triggered so much of outrage? We thought the BJP was a marginal force in Kerala, but clearly it's a growing force, large enough today to get the actor of a film to, one of the biggest stars of Malayalam cinema to apologize and get the filmmakers to cut 17 scenes already.
Yeah, for one, Rajdeep, the actor, the superstar Mohanlal, who acts in the film, he is somewhat sympathetic to the BJP and the Sangh Parivar. So it was easy for the Sangh Parivar to intervene here and create political pressure on the makers, namely Prithviraj, the director, who is a well-known actor himself, and Murali Gopi, the writer. So I'm not sure whether Prithviraj and Murali Gopi would have consented to the cuts had Mohanlal not been a part of this film. So the Sangh Parivar cleverly used their hold or their closeness to Mohanlal to enforce these cuts, is what I would say. And Rahul Ishwar, my friend, is here. He would perfectly know the behind-the-scenes activity. There are people like Major Ravi, who is a former army personnel turned filmmaker, who came first to make statements, who gave statements to the media as if he was speaking as an agent of Mohanlal. This was proved to be which was proved to be untrue later. And Mohanlal's producer, Anthony Perumbauer himself, had to, distance himself from the statements of Major Ravi. So I'm sure that there is a lot of behind the scenes activity. It was not clearly the BJP which took the lead on this. It was the RSS, the Sangh Parivar. Rashdeep, we have to understand that the Sangh Parivar was always a force to reckon with in Kerala. They have the second largest number of shakhas anywhere in the country in Kerala. But the BJP was, of course, as you said, a marginal force in Kerala. True, but following the 2024 Lok Sabha election, when the BJP managed to raise its vote share to almost 20%, and the Hindu vote bank of the CPIM gradually began to erode and switch to the BJP, the Sangh Parivar and the BJP sees an opportunity to try and emerge as a Hindu party by taking the votes of the CPIM. So there are lots of factors at play here.
So it's interesting, you're giving us a sense of the politics that's playing out in Kerala at the moment, the rise of the Sangh Parivar in recent times, both politically and culturally. Rahul Ishwar, you're back with us. Rahul Ishwar, is this, when the film Kerala Files was released a few years ago, there were people in Kerala who had objected to certain scenes, particularly from the left parties at the time, but there were no cuts of this kind. Now suddenly, the outrage has provoked 17 cuts, almost unprecedented in a film of this kind. Is this showing the growing clout of the Sangh Parivar? Does the Sangh Parivar not believe in freedom after speech?
Rasif sir, three humble and quick points. One, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist, but that doesn't mean we should have Islamophobia. See, this movie is a great movie, but this movie has overstated some things regarding the Hindu right-wing. For example, there is a scene where a Hindutva leader says, we will bomb a dam and we will drown 2 districts, which will result in the killing of lakhs of people. See, this is overstretching. I really like the movie. It is very courageous of Prithviraj and Mohanlal sir to show all this, but at the same point of time, there has been some references which is stretching it too far. Second point, the real issue is the loss of the middle ground. Either you are an ultra-leftist or you are an ultra-rightist. There is no middle ground. No, that's there. So there should be a space where we respectfully disagree with the movie while we celebrate this achievement. This is a KGF of Kerala movie industry. This will take us to a pan-Indian, pan-global level. But one humble request, they could have shown somebody in BJP and RSS as good. Entire BJP RSS spectrum is shown as villains and bad. That is unfair and unfortunate. Modi ji got a clean sheet from the courts. They could have portrayed Modi ji in a good light. But to say that the entire family of RSS and BJP is wrong, it is stereotyping. Second, and third, at least, and I believe Godhra could have been represented better. Gujarat and Godhra both are scars in the soul of India. At the same point of time, playing up Gujarat and underplaying Godhra will naturally trigger reactions. So this is a political statement too. The movie is a brilliant movie. But the movie has a political subtext and a text too. So it's natural that our Sangh brothers and BJP brothers will rise up against.
No, but I thought Rahul Ishwar that Kerala was a land where you could make such films without worrying about the repercussions. Clearly that has changed. Now it seems the moment you make a film like this and there is public outrage, the filmmakers are pushed on the back foot.
See, we had the same outrage regarding Kerala story. I also led the protest. I said 3 girls was right, but 32,000 is wrong. See, the issue with left and right is left will tell regarding Kerala story that no girl went. The right will tell that it is 32,000 girls. Both are wrong. The truth is somewhere in the middle. There is a loss of middle ground. That is a real issue. Kerala story exaggerated 3 girls story into 30,000, which is absolutely wrong. In this case also, there is a middle ground, and Mohanlal sir didn't apologize. He expressed regret, and he came to a beautiful middle ground where he acknowledged that there are sadness to some people. He expressed regret. He didn't apologize. He didn't disown Prithviraj, but rather took the onus and responsibility, saying, I knew all about the story. And Mohanlal is perceivably close to Sangh. So Sangh people were very offended that Mohanlal could hem such a movie. So there is a complicated nuance to the entire matter. And one last line. It will be interesting for you to know that Prithviraj's mother was a campaigner for Modi ji. She campaigned for BJP actively last time. But Prithviraj is an anti-Hindutva person. See, this is the beauty of India. This is the pluralism. This is the political pluralism. We should be applauding.
That's precisely what MG Radhakrishnan, is that pluralism somewhere lost? Is Kerala becoming the latest example of the manner in which some group can decide that they don't approve of a particular In Mumbai, they may not approve of a comic character, of a stand-up comedian. Kerala, they don't approve of a film scene. And therefore, the pluralism that is just spoken by Rahul Ishwar is actually getting more and more diluted. That today you have to conform. Unless you conform, you will struggle to get your film through or do a stand-up comedy act. We thought Kerala was different.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. That is the most disturbing aspect of the entire incident because it is happening in Kerala. And that too without the BJP or any agency, any sort of security agency or any court or saying or even censor board coming in to sort of ask them to do any cuts. The producers themselves volunteer to do this kind of complete re-editing. So this is actually extremely worrying because this shows the atmosphere of fear that's prevalent in the country, which is Kerala also part of it, and it has crept into Kerala also, and also the chilling effect that certain things have happened, certain things have actually created. For instance, people like Mohanlal or Prithviraj would never like to be a Stan Swami or a GN Sai Baba or a Gauri Lankesh or Dhabolkar. They are ordinary people or film people or artists or industrialists. Or they wouldn't like to take such kind of a risk. And that too, and the film, as mentioned earlier, this is the first, the largest, the film with the highest budget ever in Kerala history. And Kerala, in this particular film, through this film, the industry is trying to sort of, get out of that limited borders of Kerala geography. It is trying to have a pan-Indian market. So it is exactly when this industry is trying to do this that this kind of threats are rising. So naturally, they would be afraid, they would be terrified, and that is what has happened. So in Kerala, it has happened. Is extremely worrying, as you said.
But at the same time, the filmmakers are laughing their way to the bank, Anand Kochukudi. The film has already crossed 200 crores. It's on its way to becoming one of the blockbusters of the year. We saw it also with Chhawa. Nothing succeeds quite like controversy, Anand.
Yeah, that's true. To be fair, this movie is not actually that great compared to its first installment, Lucifer, which was released 5 or 6 years ago. So people had a lot of expectations riding on this film. They thought that it would be even better than Lucifer, but it turned out to be, much worse than expected. But then the controversy has catapulted the film into such a huge hit, and I think the makers would have wanted to make these cuts. They would have wanted to compromise on some of their creative freedom. Purely on the basis of business reasons. They wanted the film to, make as much money as possible. And this wouldn't have happened without the controversy. This film would have probably ended up as a sub 100 crore film because the film is not as entertaining, remotely as entertaining as its first part. Now there's a third installment. I don't know whether that will ever happen.
But does it boil down, Rahul Ishwar, that the moment you make today, even in a state like Kerala, a film with political connotations? There was a time when Kerala showed the way on films with strong political connotation. That was the nature of Kerala's film industry. Now it seems, after this, there could be a pushback. Should that not be of concern to people that you're not that cinematic expression will now always come against these offended sentiments? Someone's sentiment is offended, 17 scenes are cut.
Rajiv sir, please remember 59 RSS people or Karsevaks were unfortunately killed in that fire. So let us remember that there should be fairness and balance, and that fairness and balance should be there. It should not be stereotyping any party. And Mohanlal acknowledged this in the Facebook writing where he said, it is my responsibility to see to it that there is no hatred against any community or political party. So you cannot brush and brand the entire RSS BJP right-wing spectrum as bad. See, I have nuanced points.
But there are films which are being done which target the Congress and the Congress's failures, whether it's in Kashmir, whether it's in 1984, that's okay. So it almost seems that whoever is in power can now set the agenda for films. Now the RSS is in power, they can demand cuts. If the Congress was in power, they would have demanded cuts. How is the RSS different then?
I would say it is fairness and balance that really matter. To every truth and fact, there is a fairness and balance context, and that should be maintained. And that's a very legitimate ask from them too. And please remember, a huge arena of Mohanlal fans are the RSS Sangh cadre. They were disappointed that Laletan or Mohanlal took such a step of taking a one-sided view. That's the reason why everyone was requesting the nuance in US language pivot a bit more. So Laletan pivoted more to the center from a left of center view. And right now I think the movie is more acceptable. But the core issue here is we should always portray balance when regarding Godra or Gujarat. Both are scars on our soul.
Right.
So it should have a balanced portrayal and a nuanced portrayal. That nuance was missing, and I'm happy that it came back. I hope this film will get to 400 crores and will lead the way. The movie is great, but a bit more balance was needed. I think that balance was restored.
The question, of course, is who will decide what is balance and what is not. At the moment, it seems the RSS decides, and the RSS is playing the role of the censor, the sort of super censor in deciding what is acceptable and what is not. And that perhaps is troubling, because the moment a political organization gets into film censorship, then you're opening the doors for greater and greater censorship in the future. I would have always thought what Kerala thinks today, India should think tomorrow. But in this instance, that would be very worrying for the rest of the country. I appreciate my guest joining me here on the show tonight. Thanks very much on our top talking point.